Welcome back, Shalligators. We're diving back into Vlogmas and we're tackling an emotional issue that a lot of us are dealing with right now. Long distance relationships. We're going to talk about the different types of long distance relationships, the ones that are probably going to work out, the ones that are destined maybe to fail, and what we can do to ensure the best possible outcome. Because I know so many of us, like, we were maybe gonna go back to college and see our boyfriends, or like class is canceled for the next God knows how long, or we don't have the money to travel to go to see someone, or they're in a different country, or what. There's a million different permutations of being far away from the ones we love, especially this year. But I'm gonna give you some tips to make it a little bit easier, a little bit more manageable. But before we get started, I want to remind you guys to head on over to my website, shallonlester.com. Over there, you can submit a question for me, either a love question, something detailed, or an Instagram review. I take a good hard look at your Insta and tell you what you're doing right and wrong. You can also shop my new merch collection. We have so many cool designs. We have a jogger set. We have a reuse, recycle, revenge hoodie that I love. We have an ugly sweater, some other cool stuff, and right now there's free shipping, so go ahead and click there. Also, while you're on my website, please consider donating to the fundraiser we have set up for the Gethsemane Garden Baptist Church. We're trying to buy some Christmas gifts and some necessary items for the seniors and the kiddos, and we're really close to reaching our goal, maybe even surpassing it, which would be wonderful. So let's talk long distance relationships. All right. Almost all of us, at one point or another, has been in a long distance relationship, and there's something about them that feels tragic, right? They're hard because you're like, we're star-crossed lovers, torn apart by circumstance, and it just feels, everything feels heightened because of that. Like, why can't we be together? Maybe it's your family that's keeping you apart. Usually it's just something like logistics. He's off at school, you're in med school, you're in your small town. Oh, well, hello, who is this? Come up here. You want to come up here? We have a cowboy visit. Well, hello, come here. Oh, don't act like you don't know how to get up here. You're up on this thing all the time when I'm not home. Okay, now you don't. Now you're stubborn. Can you say hello? Can you say hello? Oh, who is this? He's just a little snout lot. Look how big he is. And he's gonna get like twice the size. It's awful. I just want him to be my tiny bear. He's losing teeth. And I want to get them dipped in gold and wear them as a necklace. Is that weird? Yeah, I know it is. I know. I never thought I'd be this person. I always knew I'd be this person. All right, so we can keep the camera down here while we talk. So, to me, there's two kinds of long distance relationships. One that is reasonably, that could have a good outcome, and one, like I said, that's kind of doomed to fail. And the difference is endgame. If you are in a long distance relationship that has some sort of end to it, like, okay, he's graduating law school in the next 6 months and now we're going to move to Cleveland together. We both graduate. He's wrapping up the end of this job, whatever it might be. If there is some sort of like finite light at the tunnel, you can do this. And I will go into tips on how. But if this is just sort of like the deal, he lives in Paris, you live in Boca Raton, no one can move. No one has plans to move. It's just this open-ended thing. Girl. No. Oh, my dog's tooting. So this should be fun in about 15 seconds if you see my face contort. That's why I love that you came in here to be gassy. That was very thoughtful. This house is... It's here. It's here. It's here. And dogs are like, what? Are you... What is it? They act so offended that you're like fighting for your life. Right? Right? They didn't need mustard gas in World War I. They just needed a bunch of dogs. Oh, are you gonna eat my notes? That's very helpful. You can, no. Okay. So like I would say, if you're in a relationship, okay, he loves pieces of paper. Well, he loves important pieces of paper. He doesn't want just any piece of paper. You want something you're not supposed to have. There you go. Okay. And we're back. So if you're in a relationship that doesn't really have an end to it, girl, get out. Because you're not in a real relationship. You have the worst parts of being in a relationship, but also the worst parts of being single. Can you please take that someplace else? Come on. Come in here, farty. There you go. It's on the other side of the room. You have the worst parts of being single and the worst parts of being in a relationship, right? You have the stress of being like, am I getting cheated on and blah, blah, blah. You have like, I don't know, the loneliness of being single, but yet all the responsibilities of being in a relationship. And even if you guys do get to see each other once in a while, like he comes here for conferences, I go out there, whatever, whatever. You live in vacation mode. This dog. Okay. Would you like to bring one more thing that's more disruptive? You've brought gas, crunchy paper, and now a squeaky. When you do see each other, it's vacation mode. You know, like you're not having like hard actual talks. You're just like, I don't want to disrupt this weekend. We haven't seen each other in 3 months. Like, I just want to have fun. I just want to have a bunch of sex and enjoy and walk around, la, 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 la. You also lack, and this is very important, the drudgery of day-to-day relationships. Could you not put the forks in down to the dishwasher instead of up? Do you know that the Swiffer's on upside down? Why did you just put your hat, just one baseball hat, in the washing machine? When you see I have a whole pile of laundry that could be done. No, no, no. You just washed your hat. That actually just happened. So love is logistics. And I say this all the time. Like if you are thinking about crafting a real relationship, you have to know if you can be in a real relationship. And that isn't all sex and sightseeing and partying and going out to dinner. It's just the bullshit of day-to-day life. Great. So glad my nails are coming off. That's fucking gel manicures, right? Headache. So you're lacking these crucial data points is what it comes down to. You don't have the data. And yet you're making decisions as if you have not only that data, as if you have all the data you ever need. This is the man I love. This is the relationship I'm in. I'm not going to do anything different. I'm going to rearrange my life and my time for him. Cowboy, please don't lick the microphone. This is why I send you to daycare. Of course you're cute. You're the best. You are the best. Are you my snouty boy? Are you my snoutlaw? I'm going to do like a day in the life with me and you're going to see, can you just, Cowboy, get down. I put him downstairs and the betrayal in his eyes, like, how dare you? I'm not a stay-at-home dog mom, dude. I gotta work. I gotta buy all the treats you like. Anyway, so you're making decisions as though you have these data points and all you're really doing, you're frittering away your perky tit years, girl. Why? Now, there's deeper psychological reasons to why. Because sometimes people, okay, not sometimes, people don't stay in situations that don't work. I know what you're saying. That's not true. I see people in relationships that don't work all the time. They might not work for you. You don't want to date a coke addict. You don't want to date a cheater. You don't want to date a fuckboy. But some people actually do. We don't partner up with people who make us happy. We partner up with people who fit this lock and key system of our issues and complexes, right? We date people who feel familiar. We date people who validate some sort of belief we have about ourselves. Now, if we're healthy, those beliefs are, I deserve to be loved. I want a stable, healthy, normal, consistent relationship. I'm a bad bitch and a prize. But if we're not healthy, it's, I could never actually execute a real life relationship. So this sort of digital pen pal thing, this like study abroad guy I have, this dude I met once on vacation who now I think I'm in a relationship with, that's my wheelhouse. I can't ask for more. Either maybe I don't actually want more, you know? And I'm not being honest with myself that like, I like a part-time boyfriend. I don't want someone up in my house. This is all I'm capable of emotionally handling right now. Okay. Or it's, I actually don't think he would like me in real life. I can't date someone here in my town because they're going to see my life isn't actually as glamorous as I make it seem on Instagram. Like I live in kind of a shitty apartment. I don't really know what I'm doing with my life. And if I have someone up in my pieces, they're going to know that and they're going to hate me. I have to keep a distance and a boundary between people who know me, because if they knew the real me, I'd get rejected. Something is going on. If you find yourself, like I said, in these relationships, or just singular, maybe it's the first time, where there's no light at the end of this tunnel, Your needs are not getting met. They're not, let's just start, sexually, your needs aren't getting met. That's why I don't do a fucking long distance relationship. You think I'm gonna stay faithful and not get laid? For like ad nauseum, like ad infinitum for the rest, just, oh, you know, I'm fine. You're in prison, that's cool. I don't need to get laid. I am a red-blooded American woman, okay? God made me the way I am. She knew what she was doing. Look at what's underneath this. If you had someone in your life, like if they moved here tomorrow, and I get questions from you guys about this a lot, like we were long distance and now he's moving here and I'm like, maybe it's that you valued your time and your independence. Maybe, and this is what I see a lot, it's immaturity. Because it's like, of course, he can only play with the squeakiest toy right outside the door when I'm filming. And then throw himself against the door because he's not getting let in, so he can do it. Whining, can you hear that? Oh, Mom, how dare you? Do you know that some dogs just stay in a kennel all day where their parents go to an office? I don't do that. I'm here all the time. Maybe this, like I said, the vacation mode that you're in when you're in a long distance relationship, the visiting, the blah, maybe that's all you can handle about a relationship. Like the day-to-day drudgery, the bill paying, the boring stories about TPS reports and his fucking boss. It's like, ooh, la 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 la. I don't like this. I have friends like this and they have like Disney princess complex, I sort of call it. He's being such a dick. Like they view relationships as like Disney-fied. Like it's just like, like singing in the forest with birds alighting on your hand and like getting swept up and kissed. It's not like, oh, you know why the electricity shut off? Because you didn't pay the fucking bill, Jeff. Like it's not those things. And when their relationships progress to the level of normalcy and stability, you know, when the sort of honeymoon phase wears off, they go berserk. Like they can't handle it. And they ruin the relationship. They find a way to cause drama to keep that interest alive, or they purposely pick unavailable people. People with a wife for a girlfriend, people who live far away, guys who aren't quite over their ex, pathological narcissists. You know, there's always like something to keep from getting into that normal relationship routine. And to me, that boils down to immaturity and like issues. Like it boils down to a need for chaos because you cannot sit inside your own emotional real estate and be happy in a normal, stable, healthy relationship that maybe isn't full of the highs and lows and the drama of when it first starts out, right? So if you're in a long distance relationship with no light at the end of the tunnel, girl, get the fuck out. Get out, dude. Go enjoy your life. Like why are you doing this to yourself? You think this guy is so perfect? Remember, he is curating what he wants you to know. And not because he's super manipulative, I mean, he might be, but because that's the nature of not having that day-to-day interaction. We've dated people in real life and like sort of the mask drops, you know, it's like we've stopped going out on just fancy dates and like we're just hanging out on a Sunday and you're like, oh, that's the real you. And usually we like it, you know, it's not like it's a bad thing, but you're like, oh, okay, this is who you are actually. When like the mask drops and you let your guard down and you're not curating every single text and I just see the real you. If you're long distance, you don't have that. You don't have that data. He is, baby, 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 I love you, love you, love you. Do you guys watch a show, Love After Lockup? Oh, it is so good because it encompasses so many issues in relationships, and this is one of them. And the girl's like, if there's a guy who's incarcerated, he gets out, and she's like, okay, I'm ready to get married. And he's like, I just got out of prison for the last 5 or however many years. I want to go like strip club, party, drinking, hoeing around. And they're like, what about all that shit you said when you were on the inside? All those letters about how, oh, we're going to be a family. And it's like, sorry about it. Like, yeah, that was easy to say when I could curate exactly who I know you wanted me to be so that I could get the maximum attention, devotion, response, adoration, ego stroke, all of this stuff, right? So the person you're dating isn't the whole person. You're dating part of somebody. You're dating a version of somebody, but you don't have a whole 360 relationship with them, and they don't have one with you either. And you know what that probably means? Probably means they're fucking other girls. Because like, we're not hardwired to do this. You know my feelings on monogamy. I don't know that we're hardwired to do monogamy for a very long time. Like, people have been married for 50 years, like, oh, that's great. Ugh, no thank you. That sounds kind of wild. So for a guy, I don't know, girl, I feel like there's very few data points, and there's a lot of filling in the gap with hopes, dreams, fantasies, and assumptions, right? Not a lot of gaps filled in with actual, practical, relevant data. But let's say that that's not your situation. Let's say that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Someone's moving, someone's graduating, someone's coming back from deployment. Fantastic. We've been in situations like this. I mean, I've dated long distance. And when I knew there was a light at the end of the tunnel, first of all, that's important because you can manage and budget your emotions and your energy, and also just like your actual budget. So one thing that I encourage you to do is set up a schedule. Scheduling is very important when it comes to long distance relationships. You need schedules for a few different things. You need a contact schedule. Like, if you guys are at different colleges or something, a contact schedule is going to prevent the absolute cancer that will infest a long distance relationship, which is jealousy. Like I said, you don't have data points about this person's life. You might not have ever even seen where they live now, you know, or met their friends. Well, who's Kyle? Or who are you going out with? Who's Kristen, his girl? Who the fuck are these people, right? So you fill in the gaps with terrible assumptions, paranoias. Sometimes they're true, girl. Sometimes they're not. But if that's how you're living this relationship, in this fear state, in this paranoia state, in this jealousy state, wow, that's intolerable and exhausting. And the long distance relationships that I've had, the reasons they didn't work out is because it was like, well, where were you? Well, I called you and you're never actually not home at 11 on a Tuesday night. So where the fuck were you? It's like, I was asleep. Oh, really? Like, there's just so much unknown. And yeah, and then you're not around this person, and when you talk to them, they're just barking at you and nagging you. And so you're like, well, I could be around all these other people in real life. Now we go back to that monogamy maybe not being so realistic. But if you have a schedule, we FaceTime Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 5 p.m., rain or shine. Okay. You text me, good morning, princess. I text you, good night, daddy, every single day. That's what we do. And the first Sunday of every month, we meet up. This is going to keep things consistent, and it's going to give you guys the room to breathe. Cut down on that paranoia of like, well, where were you? But you have to find a rhythm and a schedule that works for both of you. Wait, what was the key word there? Both. If you need to talk to him for 2 hours every day, this relationship isn't working, right? Because you're not living. You're not present. You're connecting with fantasy, assumption, or let's say it's not even fantasy or assumption. Let's say you guys have been dating for a long time and now you're far apart for whatever reason. You're connecting with distraction. I'm not going to why would I go make friends in my college town now when in 2 years I'm going to graduate and he and I are going to be together? So what's the fucking point of even making friends? That's not good. This is back to the emotional getaway car thing that we talk about all the time, right? You can have a relationship, but you need to have a relationship with yourself, your environment, your present IRL life. If for no other reason, you need something to talk about when you talk to each other. So have a contact schedule, and then have a schedule for seeing each other, because again, that's going to help manage your expectations, going to help manage your sadness. My mom, my angel mama, when I was living in New York and I would go home from, to California, I could tell how sad she was getting like the day before I was leaving or something. And she's like, she would always say like, I need to know when you're coming next, because then I don't feel so bad that you're leaving now. But when you leave and I don't know when I'm going to see you next, it just feels endless. And I'm like, what if I never see her again? Moms are so pure. And so that I always sort of like go back to that. It's like, you need to have a next time. Even if it's not set in stone, the tickets aren't booked yet, it's like, okay, no, we're absolutely spending New Year's Eve together. We're going to figure out the logistics, but that is in the calendar. That's the way it is. Okay, so I can handle 10 days without seeing you. I can handle 10 weeks without seeing you because I know we're planning that trip to Hawaii or whatever it might be. One thing I would do with long distance situations, I would have a book or a movie club with my boyfriend. It's cool if you pick out something like kind of sexy, like, I'm loath to say 50 Shades of Grey because it's the worst, but like something kind of like that, or something that's really interesting that you guys can talk about, maybe something you can debate about a little bit, maybe something that's useful for your careers, things like that. Read my book, you know. But it gives you something to talk about when you're on the phone, right? It gives you a reason to set up scheduling. It gives you your own little world, but in a healthy way, in a healthy way. And I just said, it gives you something to talk about when you're on the phone. What's that? Why is that significant? Because girl, you know how these long distance relationship calls can get. I miss you. No, I know, I miss you. I miss you more, I miss you more, I miss you more. We default to I miss you. Do you know why? Because we don't have shit else to say. We don't have those day-to-day logistical things. Okay, did you pick up this? That's so funny. Oh my gosh, remember last night at Stacy's when so-and-so got so wasted? We don't have the things to talk about like we would with people we see more. So when that happens and there's a lull in the conversation, we default to I miss you. And you know what that does? It emotionally and mentally drains you both. And it puts the relationship in just this sort of like stroppy wet blanket territory. I hate that. And so I force myself to allow one I miss you in a call. And then if I feel like there's that dip where it's like, I'm just going to default to more, I miss you, I'm sad, I get off the phone. Okay, babe, I'm going to go. I'll see you later. I think people in long distance relationships, they stay on the phone too long. Like literally, you stay on the phone way too long. There's nothing left to say. You don't have to talk for an hour a day. It can be a 5-minute, 15-minute check-in. Hey, love you. You still sexy? Excellent. See that cock soon? Whatever it is, you can make it fun. But don't veer into that lane. Because it just leaves you both feeling really sad, and you carry that sadness into your present life, which you should also be living. Yes, have a relationship. Don't have the entire rest of your life on the back burner. That's crazy. So limit your conversations if that's where you feel like you're going. But like I said, life is short, man. Do you want to do this? Maybe you're looking at this like, all right, he's at business school for 2 years. He's at Harvard. I'm still in, New York. I don't want to do this for 2 years. Then don't. I have seen so many people break up and get back together when it's because of logistics. When it's because of logistics, again, it feels tragic. Why should you have to break up? We love each other. I know that. But if you're not moving where he is and he's not moving where you are, that's because you love yourselves more. And you should. This is a good thing. You should. This is your life. Girl, this is your one life. This is your 124th year. This is your 134th year. This is your one shot at this corner office. This is your one shot at law school. You can give that up for a fucking man? And you're like, it's love. He's my future. Great. If he's love, if this is love and this is your future, he'll be there in 6 months, 16 months, maybe even 6 years. When it's logistical and you guys break up, you have an excellent shot of getting back together. Excellent shot of getting back together. But not if you keep talking. This is the rule for breaking up and getting back together. You cut it. It's cold turkey. Yeah, it's going to be painful. Going cold turkey on anything. Do you think alcoholics want to stop drinking? No, they're like, I prefer to keep drinking. So it's painful to stop. I don't like this. Right? But you have to do it. If you stay in contact, you shred that connection. You shred that connection. Oh, I see you didn't call me back last night. You're out fucking a bunch of new girls. We broke up. What am I supposed to do? It can go real bad. And then what you had that was sacred and holy and whole, but logistically not working, is crushed. And there's so much water under the bridge. There's so much resentment. There's things you can't take back that you've said and done. And so when the circumstances change, he's like, I'm not moving to Amherst. Fuck that. No. She was so crazy and so mean. If you cut it off, it's like, call me in 6 months. Call me on graduation day. Let's see where you're at. The best piece of dating advice I've ever received was, you don't just fall in love with the person, you also have to fall in love with their circumstances. Because if you just fall in love with the person and you hate their circumstances, you're in this Romeo and Juliet state, right? You're in this star-crossed lover, it's so tragic, and you end up wasting your life, your perky tit years, on something that is not viable. Conversely, if you only fall in love with someone's circumstances, then you have someone who's simply just good on paper. That doesn't really hint at a lot of viability either. It has to be the hybrid of both. And if the circumstances are not right, well, this is almost the best thing, because circumstances change. People graduate, people move, jobs change, they get deployed, they come back. If the person is wrong, that's just not a fit, and that's never going to be any different. So if the circumstances aren't right, you owe it to yourself to take a step back and maybe wait until they are. And it doesn't mean you're going to go out and find true love or that he's going to do that. What if you use this time to work on yourself? Wait, yourself? Oh, well, that sounds hard. It is hard, girl. It's the only hard thing in life that we have to do, and we have to work on it. We have to work on ourselves and be okay with ourselves in order to contribute to a healthy relationship. Because what is dating? Not 50-50. It's 100-100. And you cannot be half of a whole if you don't know what half you are. So if you're really serious about making a long-distance relationship work, sometimes the answer is taking a step back. It's strategic retreat in order to preserve what you have and revisit it when the timing does work out. Because seasons change. And we've seen that this year. I mean, so much has changed. Why are we assuming it's not going to ever change for the better? That's crazy. Of course it will. I want to know your guys' thoughts on long distance relationships. When has it worked? When has it not? When have you called the ball and been like, this is done, I can't do this anymore? And how did you get over difficult humps? What are your little tricks? You know, my book club trick. What are your tricks for making a long distance relationship fun and cool? Is it sexting? Is it sending nudes? Don't send nudes. Don't send nudes. Make it Maxim, not Playboy, you know. And join me again tomorrow. We're going to keep on rolling with Vlogmas. Like I said, head to my website if you have a question you want to submit, shop some merch, or donate to the fundraiser. I'll see you later, Shalligators.